Hey, I'm Mitchell. Welcome to my shop. If you remember the last video, we just finished high sawing these two pieces. It's not been quite 24 hours, so we need to let that sit just a longer, especially when you're doing large sections of high saw. It has a tendency to set up on the outer edge, but in the center where you can't get to, the air can't get to it, so it takes longer to dry. So we're going to leave that alone. That's why I pulled this off, and we're going to start on the windshield. And we'll show you guys how we do that. And it should be easy, but you know, everything when you do something from scratch, saying it's easy and then the actual execution of it sometimes don't work out. And one of the reasons I don't like the windshield, it's got a lot of, in the body industry they call it, and body shop industry they call it orange peel. If you've ever been to the beach and you see a lady on the side of her leg, that cottage cheese running down the side of her leg, it has a lot of that in there. You know, I'm not saying anything bad about women or anything, but you know, when you go to the beach, you know, do these things. Wait a minute, does that mean I look at fat ladies at the beach? Cut, let's get the building.
Here's something about Bondo some guys don't know. If you keep checking on it as it's setting up, basically, it becomes kind of rubbery, and you'll be able to take either a X-Acto knife, and I use this. You can tell that's already got some Bondo on it, and I'll just carve when it gets kind of a jelly state, carve all that down, and it'll take a lot of time away from you from having to sand it down. So it's kind of a jelly consistency right now, and if you take something, you can tell. You can just carve this thing just like a piece of Play-Doh almost. You can just keep carving it. You get the point. You just keep carving it down, and it takes a lot of that sanding time out of your way. So I lay my template out, cut it, and then put it in. There's quite a few pieces of these, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go all the way across or not. If I may put a piece of foam in here and then cap it off, because there'll be some flat spots here in a minute. Now this one is probably the most important one, because we want it, before we glue it on, it has to be straight with everything, because it's going to be the most important one we do. Now I could use a straight edge, but I'm just going to eyeball it because this window is definitely not straight at all. Notice I'm using every piece of this balsa wood that I can. I'm going right to the edge, marking it. Very little waste here. So right at the edge, and then the next one I'll flip over and do it that way. But you know, you might be saying, well, why don't I just cut a bunch? Well, as I showed you earlier, it's crooked, so each time I have to adjust this template just a little bit. So that's why we're doing one at a time. So I'm going to add a piece of foam and then cover it all in balsa. I hope I'm not making a mistake by doing this. I don't see how it could be, because then I have a piece of balsa here, a balsa here, balsa here, and this is just going to try to fill in. And I got plenty of balsa. I'm just trying to cut down on a lot of cutting, and I really hope this works. It should, because the core, once it's sanded down, you got a balsa on the back, top, sanded down fiberglass. Even if you got heat to it, it's not like heat and fiberglass would collapse. So it should be fine. This is new. I hope I'm not screwing up. But you never know. Foam. See? You don't mess with this modeler. Woo. So I've been inside a little bit. It's been snowing outside. I'm a little crazy. So what are my thoughts on the foam in the center? Well, I should have just glued a bunch of these together, cut them with a bandsaw, all been done. I've had to cut all these crazy little pieces to fill in and go around them. So, sounded like a good idea at the first, but it wasn't. Another drawback is you got to use wood glue because it's foam. If you try to use CA, it'll melt. So not that great of an idea. So as you can see, that's what our windshield's going to look like. It's hard to believe all that wood is going to be carved down for a windshield, but this is the part I don't like, is having to sand all this stuff down and carve it. There's a lot of work here. This is just a wood rasp. Don't know how well it's going to work. This is a lot of balsa wood. It's working better than I thought it was going to. So this is going to work. It's a little sore, but this will really be taking everything down. Get a bunch of shavings. Good to start a fire with right there, buddy. Now we're just going to use this big old wood rasp. It's made for hardwood. It's been used quite a bit, so it's perfect for balsa wood because it won't be too much force. So this is a good way to keep check on yourself to make sure you're not getting any dips or dings. And even if I went too far down, made a dip, not a big deal. Put a little Bondo in it, sand it down. We'll work about that later. But take a flat edge. Start back here, and you can see pretty much where it's high, where it's low, and if everything's nice and straight. Carving a plug like this, we know this is pretty flat here. We don't want to mess with that. So we have 5 pieces of balsa this way. So what we want to do is we want to roll to that area. More, about a 45 degree here. Excuse me. And then roll it in it. But we don't want to go past 1 or 2 pieces of balsa in here because we know that's flat. We just want to roll that in there. So we're just going to go to a 45, you know. And two, we're looking at the fuselage too. I know there's a little point right here. I just want to roughly do it down to the edge. And that's it. This thing takes a lot of material. And it takes a lot of material fast. And you just kind of have to eyeball it. And looking at her shape, and two, you know, I have something that you normally don't have. I have the original windshield. So we can always kind of put it over there, kind of see where we're at, see what kind of shape this is, and then come back over here and eyeball it. So it's nice to have the original windshield. I wish we could have used that. And you can really see it right there. Oh, to put my hand on it. That's what I'm complaining about. See right there? That's why we're making a new windshield. There again, I'm using a ruler to make sure that this is straight with the fuselage. And there's no issues. And there's nothing in the way. So that's how you keep it straight, to make sure we're not warping anything. And this window's nice because it comes down onto the fuselage. There's a little groove in here. So we'll be able to pull the extra material, trim it off, glue it in. It's going to be perfect. I'm using a round file at the base of this, so when it comes down, it just swoops in. So after reviewing some real photos, I feel that the bubble at the top of this is too high. So we're going to take a little bit of that off, make it more, not so bubbly at the top. It's more at the bottom that has a bubble. So the side profile is a lot better. I know how I got that hump in there. If you remember, I cut these templates and this was higher and I rounded this way and that's how I got that lump in there. And remember what I said, is the foam gonna bite me in the butt? Yeah. So I had to Bondo that because underneath that's a piece of foam that came up. So, oh yeah, not a good idea. So it did come back to bite me in the butt. Went back to my original template and we're very close to where the original template was, cut from the original canopy. So we're back to shape, looking really good. I just got to let all that dry and we'll do some more sanding. Okay, there's the windshield puttied up. It's been sanded down. There's a few imperfections, but the fiberglass will hide that. You can tell I've sanded right down to the fuselage, so it's going to be a perfect fit. And let's go around here. There's a little flat spot in the center that I noticed, but the fiberglassing and bondoing would take care of that. So you can tell everything's nice and clean. Meets with everything really nice. So now the fun part is to break this off of the airplane without damaging anything. Okay, I'm trying to get this out. This is why putting foam was a mistake. Trying to wrap it from the bottom, it's cracked the whole thing. The whole project could be in jeopardy right here. Not sure what I'm going to do. Wow, that was really stupid to put foam in there. But you can see that I've got it off of the fuselage. It came off fairly easy, other than the crack. I think that's because it had a foam core in the center. When I hit it at the bottom, it just wasn't solid and it just cracked out the top. But it's going to be a perfect mold. And now we've got to add a lip around the whole entire thing, because when we come down, we want that lip to go right in that little groove that's right through here, and then wrap onto the front of the fuselage. So you can see I've added some material in the front and on the sides to my mold. And this is so we have overhang with the canopy, so we can cut to shape and have a little extra.
Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I can only put so long of information in before it kicks me out. You can tell that I'm very dusty. The mold is made. It's broke away from the fuselage. So the next part, we're going to be just doing the fiberglassing and getting that in mold to where we can actually pull the plastic and make a mold. And we're going to put that in the oven and bring it out. So stay tuned for that part. We'll see how it goes. I've never pulled anything this big as far as a windshield. I've done little things, but nothing this big. So it's either going to work or it's not. Anyway, stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much.